This is part 4 of a 4-part series I have uploaded to this channel where I give my predictions with some thorough explanations as to how I believe this coming NBA season will go down for each NBA team. Of course, surprises do happen and I am eager to see who impresses the league, but of course I am always fearful of who is next to get bitten by the injury bug. But let's turn off injuries and predict the 2019 NBA season. Part 4, Western Conference Winners. Barely slipping into the playoffs this season in the 8th seed, I am putting the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Wolves finished 8th last year, and although both Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns are another year older and presumably another year better, the team did not make any changes to the roster apart from losing a couple reserve pieces. The biggest question mark I think for this season is Jimmy Butler. He is very good and everyone recognizes this. He most likely could make more than $19 million on his player option next season. If the Wolves are underachieving and it starts to become more apparent that Butler will leave the team next summer, they might opt for a mid-season trade of the All-Star, in which case they could finish the season hot or simmer out. Either way, I'm predicting an 8th spot for this team. Finishing 7th this season, I believe, will be the Denver Nuggets. The final game last season between the Nuggets and Wolves was amazing. It was an honest one-game playoff, do or die, win or go home. The Nuggets lost, but I am confident that this year things will be different. This year, they will make the number 7 spot. Paul Millsap is healthy. Nikola Jokic will build upon an already great foundation, and their 3 combo guards, Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, and Will Barton, are looking to be better than ever. Plus, they added Isaiah Thomas, who just 2 years ago was putting up nearly 30 a night in the playoffs. The Nuggets are young, with only one man over 30 on roster, which tells me this team is hungry. I think they will be one of the most competitive teams on the court this year. Time for the team which will undoubtedly be the most followed team by the general public. LeBron James's LA Lakers. I said this once already in this series, but what the heck, LeBron? Why LA over Philadelphia? If he would have joined the Sixers, I think they could have won it all this season, but instead he opts for the Hollywood fame and fortune of the West Coast. Okay, LeBron is the greatest, we all know this, but who surrounds him? A whole bunch of shaky to solid role players. I think the most noteworthy addition this team made, apart from LeBron, is Rajon Rondo. Rondo is a winner through and through. He orchestrated a Pelicans team to the second round last season, averaging 10 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds a game in the playoffs, while shooting 41% from deep. Also joining the Lakers is my favorite, Michael Beasley. Not a lot of people realize Beasley is a 6'10 small forward who shot 50 and 39 last year. The guy is the model backup forward. Then you have the young Laker cast of Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart, and, of course, Lonzo Ball. Who knows how their years will go with LeBron now running the show. I am really pumped to watch this team on the floor. I have no idea how things will look. I am not saying they are going to take down the top of the West, but they may surprise people. In 5th place is a team which made a huge step forward in competitiveness by swapping out one player, the Oklahoma City Thunder. This Thunder team last year was incredibly top-heavy. Russell Westbrook and Paul George were each all-stars who led the team. Then they had an okay but unimpressive Carmelo Anthony and Steven Adams. Everyone else was trash, whose purpose was to not blow the lead while the actual players rested. Now, though, they have Dennis Schroeder, a legitimate starting NBA point guard who is currently set up to play the backup position. Andre Roberson will be back from injury to play lockdown defense, but I would not be surprised if they move Schroeder to the starting 2-guard spot. They also added the 24-year-old Nerlens Noel, who at one time many saw as a legitimate future all-star. But as long as he's just okay, I think the team will be great. This Thunder team looks great, and they may steal home court advantage, but I still think there are 4 teams better. Finishing 4th, to many people's dismay, I am putting last year's regular season powerhouse, the Houston Rockets. You may be wondering how the Rockets have fallen 2 or 3 spots from a year prior. Well, it is simple. A lack of growth this offseason. The team did not make any all-star or borderline all-star additions like most of the other top 5 Western Conference teams. One of the 2 biggest signings the Rockets did do is going to look horrible in a couple years. That being the signing of Chris Paul to a 4-year, $160 million deal. Do they realize they will be paying a 36-year-old $44 million in 2022? He will not be worth it. Heck, he's not worth the $35 million this year. The other big move was the actual good one. They re-signed Clint Capella to a 5-year, $87 million deal. In my opinion, the value of these contracts needed to be swapped. Capella is going to keep improving, and I believe he is worth at least $20 million a year, whereas Paul is not going to be getting any better. But what's done is done. The Rockets are rolling out with an almost identical squad to what they had last year, except now Trevor Ariza and Luke Richard and Mbah have been replaced by a 34-year-old poor-shooting Carmelo Anthony. They will be good, but the magic of last season will be missing. Finishing third in the brutal West, I have the San Antonio Spurs. The NBA's most boring franchise just became a bit more exciting with the addition of DeMar DeRozan, in exchange for basically nothing. Last year's team, with the injured and unavailable Kawhi Leonard, won 47 games. Now add DeRozan. This team may be old, but it is a well-oiled basketball machine. LaMarcus Aldridge had a renaissance of a season last year, putting up 23 points, 8 rebounds a night. Pau Gasol continues to defy Father Time and flirt with double-doubles, and the next heir to the San Antonio throne, DeJounte Murray, is another year older and ready to lead this playoff team deep. Everyone sees that this team lacks the flash and flair of the Lakers, Thunder, and Rockets, but they have a long history of success. They do not eat highlights. Instead, they feast upon wins. They will be a force to be reckoned with. My second place team in the West may seem perplexing to most, but I stand by my decisions in this injury-free imaginary world. The New Orleans Pelicans. Last season, without DeMarcus Cousins, the Pelicans finished the season hot and fought the Warriors in a competitive second-round matchup. In my opinion, this was the best matchup of the entire playoffs. This season, the roster is set up a bit differently, but I have high hopes. Swapping with Rondo is Elfrid Payton, who I think has a bad reputation. I witnessed him play last season with the Suns, and in the games the team was trying to be competitive, Payton looked great. He finished averaging 12 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists a game, but I think there's a lot more room for him to grow. A lot of people don't realize this, but Payton shot 50% from the field last season and improved his three-point accuracy. Joining the team in replacement of basically nothing is Julius Randle. I love watching Randle because he plays with more intensity than 90% of the league. Last season on the Lakers, with an inconsistent role, he managed to put up 16 points, 8 rebounds a game while shooting 55% from the field. Throw in Nikola Mirotic, Drew Holiday, and of course, Anthony Davis. I believe this is a title-chasing team. I do agree they need some shooters on roster in the form of actual two guards. I know Miami has some which they may be willing to part ways with. I know this is another unpopular opinion, but this is my opinion. Time for number one, the best team in the Western Conference, and yes, the entire league. One of history's most dominant NBA teams, the stacked and entertaining Golden State Warriors. The Warriors are the real deal again, with the return of their core, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Kevin Durant. But now, can you believe it? They have added DeMarcus Cousins. It's a meme at this point. But let's be real. Cousins did tear his Achilles last season, and history tells us that recovery from that sort of injury is not so great. But still, if Cousins returns midway through the year and plays like even half of his old self, this team will be better than everyone else. Another small change I think helped this team is the reorganization of the supporting cast. They have a plethora of young guys eager to prove they belong long term, which I see as equaling more regular season wins. Veterans would coast through the regular season whether or not they realized it. These young guys won't. I see the Warriors team winning 60 plus games this year and tearing through the playoffs once again. Better luck next year, NBA. And that is it, my predictions for the standings of the 2019 NBA season. Some bold, some safe, and a few crazy. This is what I think, but I want to hear what you guys think below. Please comment, like, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel and are looking for some stylish workout clothing, go to hustlecosupply.com and use my code HAZE20 HAZE20 for 30% off. Also, please check out my Instagram, Hayes092895. Thank you all. See you next time.